Hey everyone, I'm John. I collect cards. Hope you're doing well. It is Saturday, November 11th. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there, and thank you for your service. I'm going to take a few minutes here and talk about a card show I went to today. A small one, but a nice one, a fun one, as well as a couple of other things. So stay tuned. I'll turn the phone around. So I made the trek up to Grand Rapids this morning from my home in the Kalamazoo area. It's about an hour-long drive. Met my good friend Tim there. We go back over a decade as former coworkers and now really good friends in the hobby. Met him up there at Legends. It's a really good card memorabilia shop in an outdoor mall in Grand Rapids. And every month they put on a small show inside the store. And I actually hadn't been to one of the shows before. It's probably about 20 tables maybe. But I drove up there this morning for that and met up with Tim and gave a walk around the tables a couple times. And for the most part it was modern and a lot of football and basketballs, but a lot of baseball too. And there were a couple of tables dedicated to vintage, which unsurprisingly I spent the vast majority of my time at, just looking and schmoozing cards a little bit. And I ended up making 3 pickups there today. Brought a small budget with me. My brought 100 and just over 100 with me, and I really didn't want to spend over 100 there today. And I managed to stay within that goal. So, and it's probably gonna be my last show of the year. I don't go to too many shows. I've probably been to, counting the national, 3 or 4, maybe 4 total. 2 here in Kalamazoo, I'd say, or maybe even 1 just here in Kalamazoo. And this was my second in the Grand Rapids area this year, and the national, and that's really about it in terms of shows. But it's good to just walk around and get that experience. It's fun. There have been some videos I watched recently about are there too many shows now? And you could probably make the case for that. There probably are, even around here. But I think if at least from this collector standpoint, if I don't go to too many of them, I think it still makes it fun and something fresh and different. As a hobbyist, it's nice to not do all my shopping on eBay or just visiting the card shop. It's nice to have that show experience, and in an in-store show is kind of unique in a way. So it's kind of fun, and I made 3 pickups, like I said. So I'm gonna show them right now. First off, I'm going to show I bought 1 slabbed card, and it's one of my favorites of this 1976 top set. It's Nolan Ryan. I bought it in a 6 in a new slab. It's amazing. They're up to the 8s now in new slabs, and so I know like some of the ancient PSA slabs also have 8s and 9s and 0s in them, and here we are again, back at this number. I got this. It was listed. He had it for $45. I paid 40 for it, which is pretty much in line with comps. It appears so, and possibly among some recent sales on eBay, maybe even some of those have gone for more than 40. So I think I got a pretty good deal on this. It's right in the kind of the average like sales recently. Now, I don't have Nolan Ryan yet in my 78 Topps Hall of Fame run that I'm working on. His base card. I have his record breaker and his strikeout leaders cards, which are he's 2 of his 3 in that 78 set. And at some point I'll get that base card taken care of. But for now, I wanted to get this card. I've always thought this was a really particularly nice image of him. It's just a really cool card, and actually, so I'm gonna bring it up closer. There we go with the grade in it. The same dealer had the Pete Rose card also in a 6, and they probably had it graded at around the same time because the numbers were about the same for the certs, and also in a 6, and he had that listed for 55. And I think the Rose card, if you're familiar with it, it's like there's a lot of batting cage shots in the 76 set. I call it the batting cage set because there are so many of them, or a good number of them. And I think the Rose shot in particular might be my favorite shot in the whole set. And Nolan Ryan, this card here is probably in my top 5 in terms of images. Another classic one from this set is the Johnny Bench walking through the cloud of dirt, a dirt cloud photo. which is also a fantastic card and one I hope to get someday as well, probably slabbed as well because it's such an iconic card of his. But I think this is an iconic card of Nolan, and so I liked getting this one. It's kind of been on my, not a wish list, but it's been on my radar for a while. And I use the 76 set as my through the mail autograph go-to. I have a lot. I bought a lot of like a couple of, several hundred singles from 76 tops off of Facebook Marketplace like 3 years ago, and just when I was getting back in the hobby, and seeing what I wanted to dive into, and autographs was one area I wanted to try, and so I bought a bunch of 76s, and I think they autograph really well actually. They're colorful, but yet the way they have the picture, it lends itself well to ink, I think. But I'm glad I picked this one up. So I think I got it at a pretty good price. And then at another table, but I'll get that rose some other day for sure. It just wasn't in the cards for today, because it wasn't good enough for me for a 6. The 6 for rose was actually a little better centered than this Ryan. But overall, this Ryan I think is pretty nice. I'll flip it over again on the back. Pretty nice overall for a 6 there. But someday I'll get that rose. Next up, from one other table, that focused on vintage at the show, I was looking at several cards actually. It was the best vintage table at the show, and really among the 2 or 3 that really truly had some vintage on display. Lots of rookie cards, lots of just good solid cards. I found myself looking at 2 Chicago Cubs rookies from 1961 tops, Billy Williams and Ron Santo. They're both raw. I was looking at them pretty closely, thinking about, do I get one? Do I get them both? Not sure if I could do both for today. Ended up settling on Billy Williams. The Santo was just not, the Santo was well centered, but the corners were just nicked enough where it probably couldn't get more than a 5. But and he wanted 60 for it. He had it labeled for 60, which I would have been tough to go much further down on that, I think. Billy Williams here, I got Billy for 45. He only came down $5, but I was willing to do it. It's a pretty nice card. See if I can even if I took it out of this top loader, the sticker's still going to be on the penny sleeve, so I'm just going to keep it in here for now. But it is off-center a little bit top and a little bit right, but neither one is like super egregious, I don't think. This is apparently a pretty hard card to find centered well, and this one's also been on my radar for a while. Let's turn it over, and you can get a better sense maybe from the back that the corners are pretty nice on this. And so I will send it in for grading, my next submission, which probably will be in January, probably be at the start of the year. Maybe it can get a 6. That will be my hope. I had a hope for my recent 1960 Brooks Robinson that I also happen to get at Legends actually a couple months back. I go up there 2-3 times a year. I'd say 3-4 times a year at the most. That was actually from the shop, from the actual store. This was from a dealer at their show today. But SGC, they don't penalize bad centering or not the best centering, but I think they actually reward good centering. That's just my theory, and who knows if it's true or not. But that Brooks Robinson was probably more off center than what this is overall. The Brooks was almost a miscut, and it came back a 5 with strong corners. This one's got pretty nice corners, and so my hope is that this can come back a 6. So we'll see. But I picked up Billy, and then lastly, along with from the same dealer, I picked up this 1976 Thurman Munson for $10. Just eventually, I just want to get Thurman's cards. I still need about 4 of them, I think. Just which ones do I need? I need 74, 75, 77, and 78. I still need all those. I almost bought a 77 as well today, but the 2 examples he had were just too off-centered for me. This one's a little off-centered down as well, but overall, the left-right's pretty good, and pretty nice photo overall, and it's just a kind of a classic Thurman shot. It's almost like he rolled out of bed that morning for the picture. But it is from his MVP year, which is pretty cool. card number 650. So those are the 3 purchases I made today. I'll just keep these on camera to just give you a couple other things I got going on here. Nothing major, but just thought I'd mention that finally I'm joining VCP. I had put it off. Vintage card prices, if you're not familiar with VCP. The membership is, it's not an inexpensive service, but it's a pretty good service. Vintagecardprices.com, if you're not familiar with it. It's, most of you watching this probably are either already joining or, have heard of it. So you're probably wondering, well, what took you so long? It was $180 a year. That's a little bit, it's a little bit of an outlay there. So, but I finally figured, I've got enough slabs, and they're pretty much only for slabs, graded cards, in terms of tracking what you have, so you can build your collection in there, or you could, I'm already using it for, I was using it in the shop today on Billy Williams and Nolan and Pete Rose for today. I used it a couple days ago for a decent-sized 1978 Hall of Famer purchase that I haven't shown yet because I don't have the card yet, but it's in the mail. So I look forward to sharing that with you when it arrives. And so, using that, probably, I wouldn't be surprised. I probably, they take more than just eBay listings. Obviously, they look at auction sites and everything as well, other auction sites. And this is not a promo for them by any means. It's just me riffing. I'm finishing up my 7-day trial, and will probably not cancel by Monday. So I'll be joining VCP once and for all. It seems like a pretty good service. It's just it's sort of got to take the hold the nose and take the plunge. $180. Here you go. But looking forward to see where it, to the degree of to which I enjoy using that site. I'm using so far this week. Unsurprisingly, I've been logged in every day, logging cards in my collection, just kind of getting a feel for the search and just in terms of how it works. And actually, I sent in. I wanted to mention not long after I was starting to enter cards. I for half grade cards, and SGC does a lot of half grades. Sometimes there's just not a lot of sales of those cards, and so if you want to track them in your collection, it seems like the data could be skewed if it's relying on 2 or 3 results. Or I have a 1953 Bowman Color Leo DeRocher SGC graded 6.5. There hasn't been a single sale that VCP is tracked on that, and so it listed as 0. And it doesn't say I'm out the price that I paid. It just doesn't really count it, I don't think, in terms of my overall value of what I have. But then I also have a 1952 Topps Gil Hodges SGC graded 4.5, and there just aren't too many sales of that. And from there's a handful, and when I say a handful, fewer than 5. Whereas cards graded SGC 4, there's many more of. And so I think you can get a more true idea of what the card's value is by almost looking at it a half grade down. So I actually wrote to Bobby Binder, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name, who runs VCP, and just sort of mentioned it would be great if there was sort of a checkbox you could check if you wanted to track when you're entering a card in your collection. Maybe if you can just track it, check that box, then so it checks the prices a full half grade lower, maybe for in the case that you had a half grade card. And he mentioned and he got back to me within 2 hours, which is really cool, and said thanks very much for your feedback and welcome, and we will be marking this down as something to look into for our next update. He didn't give a timeline or anything, and that was a pretty brief reply, but really appreciated hearing back. So it's just something that came to me. So I don't know if any of you have had that experience as well, adding cards to your collection. And similarly, the same goes for, and there really is much that VCP could do, but for qualifiers, I have a 1961 Topps Warren Spahn graded 8 OC, and they're not really going to, I can see why they wouldn't really track sales of that, because there wouldn't be too many of those other than the one I made 3 years ago probably. So I just purposely enter it as a 6 because it's really considered 2 grades lower. And I just add a note in the note section of the entry for a card saying it's really an 8OC. But just little things like that. I've been getting the feel of for VCP and kind of enjoying it. So we'll see where that goes. That was one thing I wanted to share. Finally joining, and mark me. It's sort of a milestone for me. And then lastly, I am actually going to dive into COMC as well. I've got a whole box of cards here that I'm going to take. It's another thing you got to take the plunge on, and it's like, in some ways this is like sort of my hobby is sort of evolving a little bit, where I'm now fully comfortable and prepared with sending a whole bunch of cards that I don't really need, that are not they're numbered cards, or some like X-Fractor you see peeked in there, and some other some autographs, some relic cards, etc., etc. I'm going to send a box in and give that a shot too. I watched a few videos about getting that set up, so I'm going to take a dive into COMC. Hopefully I'm not completely naive about it. I'm sure not all of those cards are going to sell, and if they did, it would take months and months, but I'm going to take the plunge on that too and see how it goes. And I'll check back in the spring, because it's going to take about 3 months for them just to get posted. But I'll keep you posted on how that goes. I got about 100 it's going to be about 170 or so that I send in, and it's 50 cents a card for them just to list it. And then the hope is that most of these will sell for anywhere from 90 cents to, I can't, because there's a whole thing about the fees they do and stuff, where like 90 cents or 85 cents, you don't want to go much lower than that, I think. $1, $2, maybe $3 or $4 or something, and we'll see how it adds up. So taking a few a few new wrinkles in my hobbying, I guess, for the as the 2023 starts to draw to a close. But that's all I have for you today. Got these nice 3 vintage cards at this little show in Grand Rapids today. That was it was a fun time, and with that'll do it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you in the next video.